vividly remember that day. I remember walking out of my coach's office, holding back tears. I remember getting into my car and just sobbing. I couldn't breathe. I could barely see. It was a struggle to get home. I remember walking in the front door and collapsing on my living room floor, just unable to stop the tears because I didn't make the varsity team. Hi, my name's Jordan Hancock, and as Dr. Seuss said, when something bad happens, you have 3 decisions. You can let it define you, you can let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. I've played competitive basketball since I was in 6th grade. I've played against girls across the country who are now playing D1 basketball. Some of them are even playing in the WNBA. My freshman year, I started varsity, and my sophomore year, I was a varsity team captain. That was like unheard of. It was crazy. It was the coolest experience. But by my junior year, there was some turmoil in our high school program, and it led to our head coach stepping down. It was really hard because I really admired her and looked up to her, but things happen. Our new head coach had been in the program before, but he was not the varsity coach, and so I hadn't had much experience with him. So, to say the least, he was not a Jordan Hancock fan. Because of that, I knew that my spot wasn't guaranteed, and I knew that I had to work hard to prove him that I was worthy to be on varsity. Well, the time tryouts came around, I felt like I worked hard and I showed him that I could be on varsity. But he pulled me into his office and he said, "Jordan, you will be playing junior varsity and you will have no chance of playing varsity." I was devastated. I felt like I should be playing varsity. I have played against the top talent in the country, and if I wasn't at that level, then I almost felt like it wasn't worth it for me to play at all. I had decided that even though I wanted to quit, basketball was bigger than my ego, and so I continued to play. I worked hard, and I worked with a trainer every day after practice, and I went to the gym every day after practice, and I worked hard to show that his decision had been a mistake. Well, fast forward 2 weeks, and it was our first game, and I remember playing JV, and it was hard. I felt like these girls were not at the level of talent that I was, and so it was difficult for me to be playing. The varsity game started, and I remember sitting on the bench when 5 minutes in, I hear "Hancock in," and I was shocked. After my coach had told me there would be no chance of me playing varsity, I started to get varsity playing minutes. It was amazing. I was so thrilled. That being said, the next few years were still not easy. My senior year, I did make varsity, but it was a roller coaster. I felt like sometimes I would play and sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I was the most important player on the team, and sometimes it felt like he looked right past me. But to top it off, my senior year ended good. We made it to state, and state was electrifying. It was the first time we had been in program history, and it was amazing. The feeling there compares to nothing. 3 months later, it's the end of my senior year, and I'm sitting there at the senior awards night, kind of wondering why I'm there. Hadn't gotten an award. It had been a long time, and all of a sudden, our athletic director gets up and starts talking about this prestigious award, and the award is the Outstanding Female Athlete and the Outstanding Male Athlete of the Year. I remember him talking about it when all of a sudden, I heard my voice called. I walked up on stage and accepted my award next to the #1 wrestler in the nation. And it was amazing. That feeling was amazing. Standing on that stage, I was grateful for that day, sobbing on my living room floor for not making the varsity team, because I know that without that day, I would have not been in that position accepting that award. When something bad happens, you have 3 choices. You can let it define you, you can let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. Thank you.